Hello everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, and in this video I want to give my commentary on a Florida sheriff who is warning any immigration protesters how his team, his officers, his deputies will interact with protesters who may end up along the lines of more so rioting or disrespecting deputies, how they are going to react. And he definitely is giving a forewarning that is going to be a violent reaction. He's very detailed and specific. So before we get into his comments, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. This video is coming from the Neighborhood Talk, one of my favorite blogs on Instagram. And so I'm going to play this video and then I will come back with my commentary. Thank you so much.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that.
Okay, so you know that I like to play these sound bites twice just so that you can really process as much as you can in terms of the details. And he was very detailed. He gave certain scenarios and what would happen. So he's definitely, he and his deputies will be matching energies. And that includes violent energy. So I'll go ahead and read the caption. And of course, I'll try to censor it based upon words that YouTube does not like, although the sheriff, he definitely used them. So a sheriff gave a public warning to protesters who plan to come out for the No Kings protest and exercise their rights. The protest is set to happen on June 14th across many states. In a press conference held on Thursday, Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey said protesters are allowed to be peaceful, but gave a long list of things that will not be tolerated and the consequences. Ivey says officers will have a response for everything, including running people down on foot or with their cars. And then the caption goes into what he said verbally during that video. I'm definitely not going to read that part. So I want to talk about, first I want to talk about peaceful protesting versus more rioting behavior. When I think of peaceful protesting, I think of people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his wife Coretta Scott King, I think of Rosa Parks, who she did not spit on the police officer. She did not put her hands on him. She did say, why do you pick on us? And she'd be working all day. And she refused. She was exhausted. But she was not disrespectful. It was reasonable why she did not want to get up. I think of how they carried themselves. In college, I learned of a concept called Black Uplift. And Black Uplift was created during the Civil Rights Movement, where Black people said, okay, we're going to carry ourselves in a respectable way. We're not going to give them an excuse to say, well, I call them the N-word and I spit on them and I disrespect them because they act like this and they look like that. So Black Uplift involved you made sure that your hair was combed, that your clothes were clean, and that you were polite and articulate and following the rules. So it would make it, the idea was it would make it harder for the whites to be discriminatory and brutal towards you if you were carrying yourself in a way that demanded respect. That was a part of Black Uplift. So I think of peaceful protesting. You are marching. You may have a chant. The chant does not include like the F word, no F bombs, okay? Because when I watch political content here on YouTube, I'm hearing the people say F, ICE, and I'm like, I don't think that's like the best chant, but I think of a very appropriate chant. I think of marching. I think of someone who is a great speaker at a podium, trying to inspire people on both sides to come together. That's what I think of peaceful protesting. Now, what I think is more rioting is when you're breaking into businesses and you are stealing things out of the businesses, setting them on fire, trashing them, turning cars over, setting them on fire. That is of a riot. Now, the businesses that I have are virtual, right? My YouTube channel, it's not a brick and mortar. If I owned a brick and mortar, I would be ticked off if protesters broke into my business and damaged it and stole items out of it. And this is supposed to be their protest for people who are getting deported left and right. I am not deporting the people. The business owner has not done anything to the undocumented people. So why would you go and abuse their businesses? That is unfair. You don't even know where they stand politically. They may stand with you, but you have violated their boundaries. You've cost them money because you want to break into the business and set ish on fire. I don't agree with that. To me, that's not protesting. That is just you deciding you're going to act wild and out of control and ignorant. And then you cheapen the protest. You cheapen the same thing that got me my civil rights and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed. When you abuse the concept of protesting so that you can be wild and be a thief, you actually cheapen and damage and destroy the beauty and the specialty of the protest that was so effective in the 60s. So I definitely do not believe with the more riotous behavior. I definitely prefer the peaceful protesting. Also, my freshman year at Michigan State University, MSU's basketball team lost to Duke University, and it was the white kids at Michigan State. They went berserk. They were very drunk. And Michigan State has a Sparty, or the Spartan, and there's a Spartan statue. The white kids were worshiping Sparty. Then I see a couch go past me. Then I see the couch in flames. And so now, because, my dear friend, Kate, she knocked on my door that night and said she was already lit. Ebony, come with us. So that's how I was outside and I saw the kids worshiping Sparty. saw the couch, then I saw it on fire. Then we walked to a street, Grand River, and the whites were breaking into the businesses. The white girls were flashing their boobs. That's riotous behavior. So when I watch political news and I see protests and then I see people acting up, it does take me back to those images of what I saw in college. So that's just not productive behavior. You're not going to soften anyone's hearts towards the undocumented people when you're setting ish on fire and breaking into people's businesses. Now, I want to talk about this sheriff, allowing his deputies to match energies. They're not going to be spat on or hit. I've said in videos past that I watch a lot of police body cam videos. And there are times where some people in this country will spit on officers. I think that is disgusting. And they will try to punch them. Sometimes it's a woman trying to punch a male officer. And now you done pissed him off because you hit him in the face. And then he punches you back with his male strength. And then what does the woman do? She starts crying. Or they refuse, like they give the officers a really hard time. By the time the officers try to arrest someone, they've asked them for their name for like 20 minutes. Like seriously, it's body cam video. So it's just plain. And they're asking for their number and they're giving them all this attitude. And by the time they're fed up, they're like, okay. And then they start saying their name like, well, you took him through it, the disrespect. So this sheriff is saying that the officers ain't going to be patient. They ain't putting up with it. So if you spit on them, if you hit them, he says you're going to the hospital and then you're going to jail. You're going to the hospital because you're going to need treatment. You're going to need treatment because the officers are going to return that energy. They're going to return that energy by hitting you back. And it will be painful and it will be traumatic. And then you're going to go to the hospital so that they can protect themselves from a lawsuit and say that they did get you treatment. And then you're going to go to jail. So he has already thought this out clearly. And he doesn't give a F. And so gone are the days of 2020 with BLM, Black Lives Matter. Is much deeper than just because 45/47 is in office. You may have watched Candace Owens' documentary on BLM. You can here on YouTube. That's where I saw it. Like 3 years ago, like my YouTube channel was super duper small. It was like an embryo. I think I had like 49 subscribers total. I did my reaction to that documentary. That video disappeared so fast. And I tried emailing the person who like struck it. And I was like, I'm just giving my commentary. I don't even have 50 subscribers. I just don't want that on my record. I didn't want to have any bad derogatory remarks on my channel. And they like totally ignored me. And, but you saw what she exposed about the alleged property purchases with the donations, according to Candace Owens. So, we're way past that where anyone is empathetic or compassionate and they'll donate to the cause that would benefit people of color or any sort of minority group. And now they're matching energy. So it's really not even worth it to have more riotous behavior. It's really, you just want to have the peaceful protesting. You may have seen the stories about the Latinas who called a Black officer the N-word. Okay, now that was stupid. But you're protesting against the deportations of undocumented people. And the Black officer, he was just doing his job. Why do you have to disrespect him? So you have to like really keep your focus on while you're out there marching. You don't have to act ignorant. You definitely don't have to disrespect the Black brother who's just being an officer getting paid. You don't know, he may have a wife, kids that he has to take care of. Why should he get disrespected because he's just doing his job? He's not brutalizing you. He was standing there. So I definitely wanted to share this with you all. If anyone is in Florida, in Brevard County, and you plan on protesting, just do it peacefully, because he and his deputies are standing on ready to match violent energy with violent energy. But what did you think about the things that he had to say? Do you think that there is a difference between peaceful protesting and more riotous behavior? Definitely let me know in the comments. I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you all had a thriving Thursday. I'm just happy that we've made it to the weekend. It's been an exhausting week. So I feel like I need to just like chill physically and mentally. But you see, I got on my uniform, I made it to the gym, and I walked for like 55 minutes on the treadmill. My chiropractor says, exercise is what helps people live forever. Of course, forever, he was exaggerating, but the exercising and the adjustments, it helps the nervous system, which just really helps your entire body to function. So that's why I try to put such an emphasis on the walking. And plus, I did walk outside for about 40 minutes. And then one of my neighbors, she caught me and she talked for like an additional 20 about some things, city council stuff. But yeah, I hope that you all had a great day, and I will talk with you all soon. Bye.